888-773-773. 888-77-Jesse. Jay is out of Michigan. Jay, welcome to the show. You're on the air.
Hey, good morning, Jeff.
Hey, Jay.
Hey. So,
Jay, I hear a loud noise in the back.
All right, 1 second. I'm getting in the car right now. All right. Hello?
Okay.
Can you hear me?
I can.
All right, sorry about that. So my question is do you think relationships are dead nowadays?
When you say dead, what do you mean dead?
Like, you know how, in the earlier days, dating women was simple. You didn't have as many distractions. Just the world was a much more simpler place.
Right.
As far as a man and a woman being together, right?
Right.
So do you think nowadays it's a lot harder to date? Is it a point to even put time and effort into women nowadays?
Well, if you're working on your life and you're overcoming the father state, it would be hard for you. But if you're not working on yourself, and there are so many distractions out there now, and then the women have been deceived in the way that what they should expect for a man, and the man is deceived in what he should and want and expect from the woman. But I promise you, if you work on you and live your life, when you date, you're going to deal with life in a simple way. It's not a simpler way. It's not going to be like the people who are caught up with the world and the world's ideas. But you're going to have to take control of your life. A friend that was at the fellowship yesterday, he was telling me now that he's taken control of his life, that he is not controlled by women like he used to be, and he doesn't try to please them and do all the stuff that they want because he can now see. Can you hold for a minute, Jay?
Sure.
Hold on, buddy. I want to go back to Jay out of Michigan, and Jay was talking about dealing with women and life and things are not like they were in the good old days. Jay, thank you for holding. Go ahead.
Hey, can you hear me fine?
I can, yes.
Okay.
So Jay, yeah, what I was saying is that though it is difficult out there, the world is crazy, human beings are crazy now, and it doesn't have to be that way for you, because if you take control of your own life and you live your life, then it would be difficult for you. It would be difficult for everyone around you, but you would be able to live your life according to the way you want to.
Right. So yeah, I understand all that, right?
Uh-huh.
Like I've been listening to you for 5 years, and ever since, I look at the world totally different, right?
Yes.
But I thought I had it all under control. So more to the story is I was dealing with this older woman, right?
How much older than you?
And I'm 33. She's 42.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's old. But go ahead.
Yeah. But she looked nice. She didn't look her age, but deep down inside, I knew it really wasn't going to work. But she just convinced me so much. Like, I was just fooled because, long story short, I did something I normally don't do, which is, I went through her phone. And, what I seen was just crazy. I don't want to get, I'm not going to get graphic or in detail or anything, but,
right.
Just by the first message, number, the guy she was texting, some pretty graphic stuff in there. And, I just don't understand how I got how I was just, tricked like that, Just how she convinced me, like the stuff she would say. and how she was. Like, you know, I just had no clue. You know, I looked at her totally different, you know. And I'm just wondering how did I let that happen
Well, only because
after waking up.
only because she said the things to you that your ego needed and wanted to hear. Because I guarantee you, had you noticed from the very beginning, when you found out that she was as old as she is, that you should not have been with an older woman, period. Because all it is, when you with a guy with an older woman, she is his mama, he's the boy. And so she knows how to play your ego to make you feel a certain way, and you just fell for it. That's all.
Right.
Are you done with her now?
Yeah, man. I'm definitely done with her. I left that night. You know, when I seen the messages.
Right.
You know, I left.
And so, how long ago has that been?
This is Sunday morning, Sunday night.
Oh, so you just broke
Monday morning, Sunday night, Monday morning.
So you just broke over the last night?
Well, Sunday night.
Like last night, Sunday, or Sunday before that? Before last night?
No, like last night.
What the? Oh, so you just broke up with this older woman last night?
Yes.
Oh, I got you. And how are you feeling right now? What are you thinking and feeling?
It's weird because I don't feel at home. I'm just letting the pain pass.
And so you are feeling pain from having to break up with her?
Let me tell you, honestly, I feel more played with. You know, I feel like I feel more disrespected
by her
than anything. Yes, because there was, you know, messages in there from guys. You know, evidence of, you know, them seeing each other that day than me seeing her that same night.
Oh,
you know?
Yeah. And does she know you've seen the messages?
Yeah, she knows.
And
I woke her up and, you know, confronted her about it. She was, you know, in a deep slumber, so I woke her up. She was a little bit confused, and she tried to deny everything, but she knew she was wrong while still denying it. And it was just crazy, man. It was just like I was just watching a movie, sitting there listening to her, you know.
You guys weren't married, right?
No, we weren't married. No.
Oh, but you were living with her?
No, I was not living with her. I would actually drive an hour to see her.
Oh, I see.
You know, I would go, you know, over there and cut her lawn, you know, drive an hour to cut her grass, and, you know, just doing the little things, you know, to that I thought I needed to do, you know.
What made you go through her phone? Why did you decide to go through her phone?
Okay, so what made me go through her phone was the vibe had just been off for like maybe the past month or so, or a little over that. Like something in my spirit wasn't resonating. It was just I didn't feel comfortable around her anymore, and I don't know, just the things she would say to me would just sound too good to be true. And I kind of always thought that, but, you know, from the messages I've seen, I just didn't see that coming, you know?
Right.
I didn't see that coming.
How long have you been dating her?
December of 23.
Oh, okay. And your question for me is what?
How can I not let that happen again and still continue to go on and date women and trust women?
Oh, okay. Number one, you got to meaning all the thoughts about that relationship and being in it, you got to let those things pass and don't identify with them when they come, because the devil going to give you so-called good memories about the relationships and bad memories. Both are evil and imposters. So when they come, just let them pass and just know that this is a relationship that you should not have gone into, period. She was too old for you. You were the boy, she was the mama. So you never should have gone into it. Know that. A man should never be with a woman that's older than him. Men were created to lead and not to follow. And every man that get with a woman that's older than him, he become the follower and she become the leader, and it's going to always end up in a ditch. And so you should never done. Just know that. And when the memories come, let them pass. Know they're not real. And just work on yourself. And as far as trusting a woman, you're not supposed to trust them or distrust them. You just don't try to trust a woman or distrust her. You just, if you run into some woman you want to get to date her, but don't have trust or distrust. You're not supposed to trust anyone.
Right.
You're supposed to have a wait and see. And so just have a wait and see. And then the other thing, too, Jay, don't look for a woman. You look for what is right. Seek the kingdom. And if it's meant for you to have a woman, I promise you God will put one in your life. It will happen naturally. And you won't have to make the relationship work, because you're not supposed to make a relationship work. It will be the right age, at the right time, and the right woman. But if you look for a woman, you're going to always find the wrong one. It's going to be impossible to find the right one.
Exactly. I completely understand all that. I completely understand it.
Yeah, so just relax and learn from it. Don't go back to her. Don't be arguing with her. Don't beg her. You go on with your life. This is your another chance for you to work on you.
Is it wrong for me to I haven't blocked her. I'm kind of getting a satisfaction out of her keep calling and texting me. You know, is that wrong?
Yes. You're never supposed to play a game with evil, because right now you're trying to punish her. You're on an ego trip, and that's not going to work out well for you. Because though she was older and all that, and the game you were playing, it's not her fault. It's your fault that you were blind and didn't see what you were getting into. And so don't play a game on her. You learn from it and move on. You're going to hurt yourself by playing a game.
Right. You're right.
I would just be done with her. I would block her. I wouldn't be talking to her. I'll just be done and move on. Learn from it and wish her well. Don't be angry at her, because again, I'm repeating myself, but it was your fault that you did not see what you were getting into. And now you do. You have you have a chance to do it right.
I seen what I was getting myself into, Jesse. But like I said, it was just the things she would say to me.
Yeah.
And how she just seemed so freaking not perfect, because I know no one's perfect, but just right. You know, she would say, you know, when I would have doubt and express it to her, she would say, you know, I don't hold it against you. You just used to dating younger women, younger girls. So, you know, I don't hold it against you. So it was like, I just can't believe, like, I would just manipulate it like that. You know, I just really feel manipulated.
And that's why I said you didn't see what you were getting into, because had you seen what you were getting into, she would not have been able to manipulate you like that. You would have seen right through her lies. You would have seen through her games.
Can I tell you one more thing about her?
Yeah.
She was married.
Oh, my God. She's still married?
Yeah. She's still married, but they were separated.
And don't, so you didn't see you were getting into a relationship and the woman was married?
I did, sir. I did.
Well, just learn from it, man. Don't get all into the imagination about it. Don't judge yourself. Don't resent yourself for it. Don't blame yourself for it because it wasn't you. You were influenced by evil, thinking that it was you. And you were influenced by the evil that was coming through her as well. And so don't blame yourself. Stay conscious so you can learn from it and you will never repeat it again. But you should move on. Don't argue with her. Don't play the games with her. Don't take joy out of her calling you and trying to tell, oh, come back. I'm sorry. And not answering the phone. Don't play that game at all. Because it was about you. What happened to you is your fault. You can't blame her for that.
You're right. I knew I was wrong, but I just thought I had everything under control, and it just showed me that I didn't have control of anything.
All blind people think they have control, and they control nothing. You're absolutely right about that. So be glad to see that. You learn the lesson of your blindness from this situation. I'm telling you, you will never go through this again. But if you don't learn and you blame her, you can't see where you went wrong, you're going to repeat it.
Right. One more quick question, and you can let me go. Do you think when people get a sense of like bad vibes and if something is really not sitting right in your spirit and then deep in your soul?
Absolutely.
Do you think you should believe that feeling?
You should pay attention to it so you can see what's going on. Absolutely.
Right. Okay. All right. That's all I had. Hey, I appreciate everything, man. Yeah. I mean, I can sit here and talk to you about a lot of politics and everything, but Trump 24. And
that's right.
But I hope he get back in there, man.
I do too. I do too. But listen, don't play the game with her. Don't sit around and talk about it all day with her. Don't go back to her. She's too old for you anyway. And she's married. And she sounds like she's seeing other guys. According to it, sounds like that's what you were saying. So just learn from it. Don't blame yourself. Don't have self-pity and all that crap. Just realize you were not aware enough, and this is what happened. So just learn from it.
Yeah.
And don't worry.
And it's so weird because I actually broke up with her about 4 days before this happened.
Yeah.
Because I'm just like, I'm not feeling it no more. Just like I said, like that feeling something wasn't right.
Yeah. So
I kind of ended it, and she came back just for me to find out, all this is going on,
Yeah.
It's weird, man.
Well, just learn from it. And again, don't get in your head about it because the devil will play you on this. He would use it against you. And
right.
And don't play the game with the phone thing. Don't, I would just drop her, though. I recommend you drop her, take her off your phone, no contact. But I would literally move on. And when she find you and start begging you to come back, don't go back. But don't try to play a game with her about not going back. Just say, no, I'm not going back. I'm done. And don't argue with her about it. Don't try to prove anything. You got to focus on living your life, taking control, complete control of your world.
Right.
And then...
Go ahead.
And don't worry about if you're ever going to get another woman or is there a good woman out there and all that. That's another game the devil play on you.
You're right. You're right, man.
Are you doing the prayer?
I just started back this morning. I just started back.
So why did you stop doing it?
Procrastination.
Amazing.
I would think about doing it and wouldn't do it.
Yeah.
Um,
That's what the devil wants. And the other thing too, all the memories you're gonna have from this relationship with this woman is it's just memories. They're not real. It's not a sign that, oh, missing out on a good woman, or I need to go back to her. It was love and blah, blah, blah. It's all it's just thoughts. It's just memories that the devil will give you to get you to go back and be destroyed.
Man, you're absolutely right, man. You're absolutely right. And I found myself, working out, and I'm turning on, like, sad love songs. I'm like, man, what am I doing? Like, all right, what am I doing?
Yeah, that's the devil's game to get you mentally and emotionally tired up so he can destroy you. Do not fall for that. You don't love her and she doesn't love you. She's never loved you and you've never loved her. It's never been about love. It's just been about an ego game. And
that's for sure. That's for sure.
And plus, you were too old. So this happened 3 hours ago?
No, no, I'm sorry. I was wrong. So this was Saturday night. Sunday morning, this happened.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right.
So, roughly 2 nights ago.
Well, be glad you have a chance to get out of this situation before you were completely destroyed.
Yeah, I am. Hey, thanks, Jesse.
You're welcome, buddy. I wish you well.
I wish you well, too. And, Joel, he black.
You black. That's right. Amazing. Thank you, Jay.
All right. Talk to you later, Jesse.
All right, buddy. Let me go to Georgia and talk to Pablo, a first-time caller out of Georgia. Georgia, oh, my. Pablo, welcome to the show. You're on the air.
Hey, Jesse, how are you, sir?
All is well. Thanks for calling.
Amazing.
Amazing.
A big fan.
Thank
I'm
you.
an ordained minister. I was a Marine.
You ordained minister?
Yes, sir.
Okay, go ahead.
So I have a question. It's kind of intertwined about the media and how they are kind of programming a narrative and deceiving people.
Right.
So I'm very conservative, same team, but I was a Marine, so I look at it as like a spiritual battle. And part of that is knowing my enemy. And I went on the Church of Satan's website and looked under their ranks, and their highest rank at the church is called Maga. Now, in Revelations, it says, you take the mark, you put it on your forehead. So I'm wondering if, what does that mean and how are they conditioning people? Like, what's your opinion on that? Because I like Trump, but that's the gambit, right?
When you say, I don't know what that means. That's the gambit.
So like in chess, it's like a trick that you play. Because like the word Donald means ruler of the world, and Trump in poker is like a trump card. Everybody thinks that they won, and you play the trump card and you win.
Oh.
But I like everything he says, right? But it could be a trick.
James, you know about all that? I'm asking Hake because it sounds like a lot, and I don't know about all that. Well, first of all, we were just talking about the Church of Satan or something like that, right?
Yeah, their highest rank is called a Maga.
And so, what does that have to do with Trump?
It's not
because
MAGA
is
short for
make. Say that, yeah, right.
Make America great again.
But suppose the Satan is doing what Kamala Harris doing, just trying to imitate Trump to deceive the people.
Are you thinking that God's trying to tell you something with these secret codes?
This is
well, I
hate.
don't.
This is hate, Pablo.
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 I don't hate anybody, and
I said this is hate. The other voice that you hear is Hake, Hake.
Oh, okay. Oh, yeah. Hey, Hake, how are you?
Hey, fine. How about you?
I'm all right. Like, I'm not very political, right? I kind of look at it as like I mean, God can use whatever tool he wants to achieve whatever means to an end he wants, but I look at like the political system as there are no good people in it.
That's
Right?
for sure.
So, I mean, when you're talking about don't play games with evil with the last caller, like my solution has always been, well, if the choice is the lesser of two evils, I don't want to play that game. Right? So, but it's a dire time for our country right now. So, and Georgia's a purple state, and the landscape is changing very quickly where I live. So, I was kind of wondering, what's your opinion on that?
What do you say to that, Dave? Because it sounds like a lot. You asked, what was the question you asked? Was he reading too much into it?
I was asking if he's thinking that God is telling him that these words and these names, coincidences, mean something.
Well, I think everything means something, but
Not necessarily.
Well, I mean,
You're acting like the fact that the Church of Satan highest order is Maga or mages or something like that means that the Make America Great Again is satanic.
no, I don't think that's the case, but I think that part of the way that these people move is they create symbols because they're more powerful than just any one human, right?
Who's these people?
We'll say like the elite, the rulers, the people that put the pyramid on the back of the dollar bill, the social hierarchy pyramid.
And they said they're more powerful than the rest of us?
No, I mean, no, they're just people, but they're deceived and guided by these entities, right?
And so you
it's
think,
like,
I think you're way deep in your head, though, because you're thinking that the powers that be made the Church of Satan call it MAGA and Trump make it MAGA.
well, I don't know which
trying to make
came
it mean
first.
something.
I don't know which came first, truth be told, right?
But it doesn't even matter.
All I know,
Right.
I
It
know
doesn't
is
matter
that
who
the-
came first. If Trump,
It's just a coincidence.
right.
no, my point is
Hold on
that
for me. Hold on for me, buddy. Don't hang up. All right. Let me take a quick break. Oh, Pablo, a first-time call out of Georgia. Georgia on my mind. Pablo, I think you're reading too much into all this.
Well, that's fair, sir. I'm a classic overthinker.
Yeah, because Trump is making America great again, and that's what Trump doing. And then this thing that you saw on the devil website is what the devil's doing, and one has nothing to do with the other.
Well, that's why I was asking, because, I don't care about the devil's website. I care about Revelations, and I observe how the media is conditioning people more and more.
Yeah.
It's like back in the day, nobody thought about race, and now everybody thinks about it all the time. And I'm just concerned that it's the same gimmick with different marketing.
Right. No, but don't worry. And also, are you voted for Trump?
I've never voted, sir, but I'm considering it because Georgia is it's a what's that called?
On my mind.
It's always on my mind, but it's a state where it's very close, right? It's a purple state,
Yeah.
a battleground state.
You got too many
Right.
blacks in Georgia.
Well, I mean,
That's what the
neither
problem
here nor
is.
there.
No, it is.
Well-
It's a big deal because before there were so many blacks in Georgia, Georgia was a red state. And then the white people left and let the blacks take over. Now it's becoming a red state.
Yeah,
Am I
like,
right?
They moved. Yes, they moved Hollywood to Atlanta.
Yes.
Right. Like, so Atlanta's
Yeah.
where they make all the films now and everything.
Yeah.
And that's why they did that, is to permeate the culture here.
Right.
Right. So I understand, but I don't really think, I don't like to be like, oh, my vote, I'll do this and it'll change everything. Like, I just read the Bible and try to live right.
You said you
know?
never voted before?
No, sir, I have not.
How old are you?
I am 37.
Really? And are you going to vote for the Great White Hope?
I'm considering it. If I did vote, I would vote for him.
But why is there even a second thought about voting for him? Because if we ever needed Trump in there, we need him now. And you don't want to lose Georgia. You lose Trump, you're going to lose Georgia. Why is there even a second thought about voting for him?
Well, it's not voting for him. It's just voting in general that I see as an act of submission and compliance, because it says, I agree to this system and I will abide by it, whether it goes my way or not. And I kind of see it as like a fallen mechanism that's been corrupted.
You still read too much into it. What do you mean, James?
About voting?
Yeah. He said this making a system that he doesn't want to fall into.
Whether you vote or not, you still have to participate in the world.
Right. If you don't vote for Trump,
true.
If you don't vote for Trump, then you can't say anything if they go awry.
And I've never really said much or had much of an opinion. I've just seen the world change so much that it's like, okay, in my opinion, it's like, I don't even think voting counts, because Biden didn't even campaign and he quote unquote won. And then now Kamala didn't even run.
Said I disavow.
Like, I don't even think
you know what you're doing wrong?
What's that?
You're looking at other people. Instead of doing what you should do, you should be voting. And you should, because it's the citizen, it's the voter that tells the government what to do.
Allegedly.
But if you're not voting, you're not going to be able to tell them what to do.
I don't think they'll listen anyway, sir.
If you vote in the right person and they don't listen, you vote them out, and then vote in another person, they will start to listen.
I hope so. I just think they all cheat.
No, that ain't the point. You're not voting, so you're not voting in the people you want in and voting them out. You're just not voting and looking at what's happening, but you're doing nothing about it.
Suppose everybody thought like you. Suppose all the good people think like you.
But if all the good people thought like me, we would see. I was in the military.
No, but listen. Wait, let me finish my point. If everybody decent thinks like you, nobody decent is voting, and of course the evil is going to win.
Well, if nobody voted, they're going to.
I didn't say nobody. I said nobody decent voted.
Okay, well, you said, let's say everybody thinks like me, nobody votes.
No, I didn't say nobody. I said nobody. Everybody decent.
Right, but I'll entertain this hypothetical.
No, I just gave you the answer to the hypothetical.
Well,
if everybody Christian or independent minded who thinks, oh, you know what, so many dumb people are voting or voting doesn't count, then they're not going to vote and they're not going to win.
Right, but that person would not represent. And yeah, I mean, you could make the argument that they don't represent half the country now anyway. But if you quit voting, they're going to put someone in there anyway, but you're no longer participating in it, and they're not a leader that you chose. They don't represent you, right?
That doesn't matter.
So it has nothing to do with you anymore.
It has nothing to do with you regardless.
Then why vote?
Because you want a better chance to have sane people leading.
I mean, there's validity in your guys' point. That's why I called to hear it, right? And I don't have the answers.
I highly recommend, do what you want, of course, that you vote for Trump. You're getting one more chance, and you have never voted. even if God forbid, I don't know, I don't like doing ifs, but if he doesn't win, at least you know you did your part. But if you don't do anything, you have nothing to say about anything. Because if Trump doesn't get in, it's definitely going to get worse. You haven't seen anything yet. And so, but if you don't vote at all, then you're just going to have to suffer with the rest and have nothing to say about it.
I mean, it seems like that's the outcome anyway. But
you don't know the
you're
outcome.
right.
Take no thought about tomorrow. You don't know what the outcome is going to be.
Well, that's true.
There's this whole growing movement, and I think it's a psyop of people who don't vote and refuse to vote. And
people.
I mainly hear it from the people who are the most quote unquote sensible, from our crowd, meaning the crowd that wants they're either Christians or they're for what's right.
Do you think that means something?
It means that they're stupid. It means they're being they're following
you just called them the most sensible, though.
No, I said you're from the more sensible crowd. So that means that the good people are not voting. Because the good people are brainwashed against voting because it doesn't matter anyway. I think it's a psyop that you got suckered into. And then you pretend that you're not to blame for the country going down.
Well, I mean,
because you're part of it.
If I had it my way, we'd be flinging brass, not votes, right?
No, that's a loser mentality too. That's part of the psyop too. Because now the people, the losers on the right are such losers that they just want to resort to violence.
What's a brass?
Slinging brass is shooting guns.
What?
He wants civil war instead of, because he's given up on voting so bad.
Stay in Georgia.
No.
You've been psyop, Pablo.
I don't want that.
Yeah, you do. You just said you do.
No,
Pablo.
I just look at historical precedent, right? When you have a runaway government, you need to set an example that the people are in charge, and clearly they don't think like that anymore.
You're a classic overthinker, like you just said.
Pablo.
Yeah, but...
Pablo.
Yes, sir.
Relax. Come out of your imagination and vote for Trump.
All right, I'll do what I can.
And forget about the Satan church. Whatever church it is.
Yeah, I don't pay attention to them much, right?
No, don't pay attention to them, period. Evil has no authority, no power, nothing, unless you pay attention to it.
Well, that's fair, too.
So don't give evil inside of you any power, and don't give evil outside of you, inside of other, any power. It has none, zero. It's been defeated. And you said you were waiting for the revelation. What do you mean by that?
No, I mean, well, I think as Christians we kind of all are, but the Revelation is it's just my favorite book in the Bible because there's so much prophecy in it, and I'm fascinated by that aspect of the Bible.
But a long story short, that I got to run. What do you mean you wait for the revelation?
Or, for the king to come back, for the events to transpire.
But the kingdom has already come back. Everything is done. It's finished. And the kingdom has already returned.
Well, if this is the new heaven and new earth, I think we took a wrong turn at Albuquerque.
But no, this is not the new heaven and the new earth. The new heaven is inside of you. The new kingdom is inside of you. Christ has come, and he's inside of you. The Holy Spirit is there, and God, the kingdom of heaven is in you, is above and in you. So Revelation is talking about something that's already done. It's been completed. It's over. The battle has been won.
Well, I agree with that.
So you don't be waiting for something that has already come.
All right, fair enough.
So don't be waiting for no revelation. It's already here.
All right.
What you doing over there when you ought to be over here? God tell you don't.
Yard work.
He tell you. He tell you don't look left, don't look to the right, don't look backward, don't look up. When someone tell you to look there, don't do it. The kingdom of heaven is within. Christ has already come.
Yeah.
Are you looking within?
I do. That's
Are you living from within?
I am.
Well, then what are you looking for then? Or waiting for?
I'm trying to. I just want to see. I just want to see things be better than they are.
Well, then you got to vote.
All right.
Vote for Trump, man. Then you'll see.
All right.
Let me know how it goes.
All right. Thank you, guys.
All right.
Y'all are awesome, by the way.
Thank you. And stop looking for the kingdom. It has already come.
All right.
All right?
All right.
Thanks, buddy.
Bye.
Bye now. Before I go back to the phone, and I will get to all of your calls, but we're going to try to get in as many as possible. Some of you are aware that yesterday the Democratic National Convention started. It was the beginning of it for this week. And according to Fox, President Biden delivered his highly anticipated address to the Democratic National Convention late Monday night and touched on subjects including strong criticism of former President Trump and the conflict between Israel and the Hamas terrorist organization in control of Gaza. I want you to hear this from Biden criticizing Trump and why he ran for president. Watch this.
When Donald Trump said, and I quote, "There are very fine people on both sides." My God. That's what he said. That is what he said and what he meant. That's what I realized. Had to listen to the admonition of my dead son. I could not stay in the sidelines. So I ran. Because I had no intention of running again. I just lost.
Amazing. How long he going to use that lie? Amazing, huh? He lost the race because he can't run. What the? So the lights are on, but nobody's home, it seems. It is so interesting to me now. This is from the Washington Post. And Biden must have spoken, I think I did hear this, I'm not sure. Allegedly, he spoke like late last night. Well, like midnight or something, or near midnight. The ones that are running the Democratic whole thing right now, Obama and all those guys, they had Biden on late last night, and they know Biden can't stay up past 9 p.m. What the? They want to make sure no one heard him. Or if he slipped up, no one would see it. It's amazing how they're treating Biden. Human nature is evil, huh? And human nature want power. That's why people argue with one another. They want power. When you're married, when husband and wives are arguing, they're arguing for power. Human nature love power. When friends argue, it's for the power. Otherwise, why are you arguing? Just think about that. You're lying to tell yourself, well, I'm arguing because I want to prove something. You're arguing because you want power. And the Democrats want power and wealth. They want to maintain it. And if they have to get Biden out of the way by any means necessary, so be it. And that's how you are in your life. Whatever you want, the hell with whatever somebody else think or want. You wipe them out. Even your own children. Here's from the Washington Post where Biden says, protesters have a point. Watch this.
We're working around the clock, my Secretary of State, to prevent a wider war and reunite hostages with their families and surge humanitarian health and food assistance into Gaza now.
I don't even know what he's saying.
To end the civilian suffering of the Palestinian people, and finally deliver a ceasefire and end this war.
Oh, Lord. Biden sound like, I don't know, but like he high as a kite.
Those protesters out in the street, they have a point. A lot of innocent people are being killed on both sides.
Oh, both sides are right. Are there nice people on both sides? Uh-huh! Are there nice people on both sides? Israel and Palestine. Are you saying that, Biden? Are there nice people on both sides? So if you're right about that there are nice people on Israel's side and there are nice people on Palestine, that's what the president was saying, Trump, when he said there were nice people on both sides. And there were nice people on both sides. And there were mean people on both sides. Amazing, huh? You don't know. Honestly, you just don't know it. I understand now. I understand that you don't know how lost you are, how in darkness you are. Only because you can't see and you don't want to see. Those who want to see, they're starting to see. And those who don't want to see, they're not seeing. The light is only going to present himself to those who want it. You got to welcome the light. So according to NBC, several protests are planning throughout this week in Chicago as political leaders descends on the city for the Democratic National Convention. Of all places, I said the same thing about the Republican Convention. They had in Milwaukee. Of all places to have a convention is Milwaukee. They're like talking about going into the hood. And even worse is Chicago. You're going to be afraid to go out and have lunch during the break of the convention. You got to try to have lunch right there in the building because if you go out, you most likely will get ambushed. You'll get robbed. I mentioned the Democratic conventions happening in Chicago right now, Chi-Town. And several protests, according to NBC, several protests are planned throughout this week in Chicago as political leaders descend on the city for the Democratic National Convention. The first of seven permitted protests for the week took place on Sunday. Though additional demonstrations are possible throughout the week. People love to demonstrate. Watch this from NBC.
While all eyes are on Chicago this week,
we are unstoppable. Another world is possible.
Protest groups want all ears on their demands for the Democratic Party.
We're here to set the tone.
Abortion rights groups kicked off a week full of protests Sunday night.
We're here to say that business as usual will not stand, that our issues and our body autonomy is not a political issue that can be used to manipulate the ballot box.
Hundreds fighting for that same cause gathered downtown, and they're not the only ones who will protest this week.
270 organizations from across the U.S. have joined the coalition to march on the DNC. And tens of thousands will be out on the streets starting tomorrow.
The U.S. Palestinian Community Network spent months fighting the city for permits to protest within sight and sound of the DNC, with their first permitted event happening Monday morning. Aside from the USPCN and women's rights groups, others fighting against racism, policing, and homeless rights also have plans.
We demonstrated against the Republicans, and we came here to demonstrate against the Democrats.
Earlier this week, Chicago Police Superintendent Larry Snelling said his officers are prepared. We had a first look of it downtown Sunday night with officers lining the perimeter.
And I have no doubt that when this is all said and done, those officers will make this a successful event.
Amazing. So the protesters at the Democratic National Convention went to a communist city, socialist city, to hold their convention. Okay. What was the lady saying? We, something. What was she saying, Nick?
Which lady?
That first woman.
Jex Blackmore.
We are, oh yeah, we are unstoppable. There's another new world outside of this.
Yeah.
What
that chant, the first chant. I forgot what the chant said.
We are unstoppable. There's a whole new world outside of this. Something dumb like that. How you know her name?
No, I was thinking about her name was, there was a name of a gal who was interviewed by the media, and I recognized her name. She's a Satanist and very pro-abortion.
Was that her right there? Saying
I don't know. I don't know.
Oh.
Maybe not.
Oh, okay.
I was mixing up the person who was interviewed by the media with the person who was chanting, and I don't know if that's the same person.
It's interesting to see that guy saying that all these protesters, thousands of protesters, right? And it's amazing how evil people can round up evil people in the numbers and go and protest.
Yeah.
And they all think they're being saved by others. That is so interesting to me. So they're protesting, ain't nothing going to change. Can you imagine? Why did they have an abortion clinic at a neuter clinic for the men?
A neuter clinic.
Yeah.
That's a nicer word for it.
What does that have to do? Why they got to have that at a rally? Suppose something go wrong. Don't you need a doctor?
Maybe they have doctors there in the trailer.
But what do you need an abortion for at a rally? Why?
Maybe the bus takes you to the abortion clinic and to the neuter clinic.
Oh, you don't walk into the clinic?
They don't do it on the bus?
Uh-huh.
I don't know.
Look like they're going on that bus and doing it. It look like, I don't know.
Crazy.
Just think about that. You know that has to be evil. They told these stupid women, take your bus to the clinic. Take your bus to the Democratic National Event and do some abortion. We want to kill as many babies as possible. And make sure you neuter all the men so they can never make another baby.
That's a mess. I saw a few ladies dressed up as abortion pills marching down the street.
Ooh, don't marry that one. She's going to kill every one of your baby.
Yeah. Horrific.
And one, oh man. Here's a photo of Chicago businesses boarding up their property there in Chicago.
Oh, pictures?
Yeah.
Look at that. Smart people. Smart business owners.
But it's sad. They have to board up. Now they're going to lose money and everything.
Yeah.
People can't go to work. All for their mess. 888-7753-773. There is a line open there now. Before I go back to the phones, I want to, I mentioned to Hake and I talked about in Chicago. Just imagine the socialists are having their Democratic National Convention in a socialist city. I wonder how they feel about that. What the? They are having a convention of socialism, and they are pushing socialism. And look, I wonder if when they're driving down the street from the airport or on their way to the convention building, are they seeing what socialism has done to Chicago? Chicago is a perfect example of what socialism has done and can do to a town and to a people. But I mentioned that DNC abortion and vasectomy truck is there in where? In Chicago. And this is from Fox. Planned Parenthood, of course. Planned Parenthood announced in an X post that a bus is headed to D.C. a bus is headed to the Democratic National Convention in Chicago on August 19 through 20 to offer free vasectomies. Isn't that amazing? You want to be neutered? Come on over to Chicago. We'll do it free. Vasectomies, medication, abortions, and emergency contraception without an appointment. You don't even need an appointment. Just walk on in, and we'll new you up to make sure you don't make no more babies. And you don't know that that's evil? These are some evil, cold-hearted Satan demons that's working for Planned Parenthood. They are working, just think about that. They're going to take a bus all the way over there and not even charge you for it to make sure that they destroy every soul they can possibly destroy. How would you like to be married to one of those women? And ladies, how would you like to be married to those doctors who are performing those abortions or females who are performing them? Isn't that amazing? Think about that. They're going to take a bus over there to you. Don't worry about coming to us. We'll come to you. Amazing. I want to show you the bus. Did we show the bus already? I did. Oh, that's the bus. Can we call that the death bus? Planned Parenthood Healthcare Death Bus. We need white babies. Well, you better not go in that bus. Ain't no white baby going to happen in there. And last but not least, this is from Fox. Here's a segment from Fox and Friends discussing the police presence in Chicago. Watch this.
Well, let's talk about what's happening in Chicago, where Lawrence is, in terms of what's happened under the Biden-Harris administration. When it comes to crime, it's up 11%. That's in the year leading up to this year, until violent crime. Also, when you look at housing, when you look at what they're supposed to bring to the city, you see people boarding up their houses, people concerned about the protest of 100,000 plus. They're worried that there's 1,700 less cops in uniform now. They're concerned they've got 400 cops from other cities who have to come in to help out. So this is an example of a liberal city run by a liberal Democrat and the Democrats that's gone awry. This is not a great example of what we will do if we give you the keys to the country.
It's the audacity for me. How many years have I been covering the violence in Chicago? How many kids, how many parents I've sat down with to talk about their kids being murdered? How many pleas have they said we need more cops on the street to go after these criminals? And all of a sudden, when the rich, powerful, and well-connected want to host a convention, then you send the cavalry?
The police will protect them. The government will protect themselves, but not you. And you vote for them. Go figure. And you vote for them. Think about that. They'll put a fence up around the Democratic National Convention to protect themselves. They're bringing cops from everywhere to protect them, but they leave you wide open. No police, defund the police. Take away your Second Amendment. Let the criminals out of prisons and jail. Bring in the illegals. But we're going to protect ourselves. We're going to have cops around. We're going to build fences. It's not good for you, but it's good for thee. We are unstoppable. Another world is possible. Dumb lady. What the? 888-7753-773. I think I'll go to Mary Ann. A first-time caller out of Pennsylvania. Marianne, welcome to the show. You're on the air.
Thank you, Jesse.
You're welcome.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Well, I've found you at the perfect time in my life because everything's just sort of come to a head, and I was contemplating leaving my husband, but then I was, obviously I've been binge listening to your show for like a week and working on myself. I forgave my mother and my father, and I've been doing the silent prayer. But what I'm at now is I'm concerned about, he's in his hell. He's loves his hell. And I'm concerned about how his hell is affecting him and the children. Because I want to be the best, I want to do my duty as a mother. And I didn't know, because he's got some very strange behaviors just come up recently. He threw away all our stuff, and we've been living in the hotels for 4 months. He's a mama's boy. He doesn't like working. He wants, there's so many millions of things, but one of the main things is sort of an OCD thing he's got now, where he thinks everything is contaminated with chemicals that he encountered at a yard a couple of years ago, and he thinks that it's transferred into all of our clothes, and his mouth burns, and he's very angry, basically, is what I'm saying. Very angry and acting very strangely. As an example to the kids is what I'm concerned about. How do I navigate that?
And what is?
I'm observing him. I'm observing his issues. I'm not letting them affect me emotionally anymore. I'm not angry about it anymore. I'm gotten really good at just letting them go.
How old are the kids?
They're 5 and 2 boys.
And what is he doing to them that you're concerned about?
Well, okay, so up till this point, I've been going with the general consensus that they model the behavior of the father, and he's very angry and short-tempered, and I was afraid that he was maybe giving them anxiety and that they might grow up with some sort of OCD problem, behavioral problems. The worldly idea is that sort of thing could happen, and that these are not good behaviors to have, I guess.
And so, what is he doing to the kids that you're concerned about?
Nothing. Well, he's a bit rough with them, but not that rough. Nothing really, I guess. Not directly.
So if nothing is happening, why are you concerned about that?
There. Okay. Yeah, you're right, I guess.
No, that was a question.
You're right. Okay. Well, I was concerned because, he used to be so close with my oldest one. And my oldest one used to and now he doesn't want to talk to him anymore, my youngest. But that's probably my fault, isn't it? That's probably something to do with how I've been.
Well, why are you concerned about he and his children if nothing is going on?
Well, I don't know. I guess I want him to be normal and I want him to be working on himself so that they can have an example of how to work on themselves.
And what is normal?
Well, just not angry, peaceful.
And so what is normal?
I don't know. These days, I guess angry is normal.
And so far, he's doing nothing to hurt the kids. So far, he's concerned about, I guess, this thing he got involved in. What is he doing wrong that making you so concerned?
Well, we don't have... we don't have any possessions. We don't have a car. It's gotten to the point now. He says he's looking for a place to live.
Have you ever had a car?
Yes.
And
Yes.
so you guys had an apartment at one time?
We had a home.
You had a
We had a
house. You
house.
had a house.
Yeah.
And he
sold
what
it.
happened to the house?
He sold it because the neighbors were bothering him. He said that they were watching him, and he just doesn't like to be around other people at all. And,
okay.
I mean, this is,
How long you been married?
Okay, well, this is 10, 12 years.
Oh, okay. And so,
I lived with him before that. It's
you
all my
did?
fault. Yes. I really picked one. I really picked it.
And so what are you doing wrong?
Me, currently, since I started listening to your show, nothing.
What were you doing
I'm just
wrong
kidding.
before that?
Oh, let me see. Well, I argue with him because I believe that this contaminant is in his imagination. And I think his physical ailments are from something else. I think they're from some medication he was on. And it's just like, it was so frustrating to hear him describe reality it's impossible what he was describing. The possibility of what had happened, it was impossible. And it made me angry.
And so what are you doing wrong?
Right now, I don't know. I mean, a week ago, I would have said, I'm letting my children witness this. I'm not protecting. I mean, that's what his mother-in-law says. I don't know. I'm very confused right now.
And so you
I'm
haven't,
trying.
you haven't,
Right now,
you haven't done
go ahead.
anything wrong?
Yeah, I'm sure I have. I'm just trying to. I'd argue with him. I'd get mad.
So why is it
angry.
why is it so easy to name off everything that he's done wrong, but you can't think of one thing you've done wrong?
No, I've done millions of things wrong in the past.
Like what?
I lie to him sometimes. Often. Let's see. I left him a couple of times just for a few weeks at a time. I ended up coming back because, well, he talked me into it. But other than that, I mean, I try to be obedient to him. I want that. I want that life. I really do. But he's the only time he was really ever very nice to me was when I was working, and I see now why that is. It's amazing. Like,
you said you were never nice to him?
He was never. Well, sorry, I'm turning it back onto him again. Sorry.
Yeah, you go. It's so easy to go back to him, but we're not dealing with you.
No, I know. I haven't even been thinking about myself. I've just been focused on him. He's been my prime focus for years.
And why have you been so judgmental of him, but not of yourself?
Well, since you told me, suggested that I forgive my father, it's very obvious that it was my resentment toward him because he didn't save me from my mother. I was not able to. She would have, I imagine, been okay with it, but she had schizophrenia, and
so you grew up
was
with
an alcoholic.
You grew up with an insane mother?
Yes.
And how about your father? What did he say when you went to him?
He said, he was pretty, kind of a hippie. He kind of got where I was coming from.
Okay.
I told him, yeah, he's very understanding.
And so, your question for me is what?
Well, I guess my question was, what are my duties as a mother? What constitutes hurt towards children exactly? Physical? I mean, I just want to. I want them to be. I want them to grow up. Is it enough for me to be working on myself? For them to have that example?
No. You have to be working on yourself so that you can overcome your hell that you're living in. And you can't work on yourself for anyone else or any other motivation than to overcome your abnormal state of being. And when you work on you, then your world will be fine. And then kids will see that, and their world will be fine.
Okay.
They will see, instead of the darkness in you, they will see the light. But you got to take your eyes off your husband. You're very judgmental of your husband.
That's true. You're right. Yeah. Okay. All right.
Why haven't you taken your eyes off your husband and just worked on you? Because you're responsible for you and no one else is. Your husband or no one is responsible for you but you. Why haven't you done that already?
That's a good question. I don't know. I don't know. I don't have a good answer for that.
And then what does it feel like when you know that you're giving him hell too, while pretending that you're not?
Oh, it does not feel good.
And why don't you, I'm sorry?
It does not feel good. It does not feel good.
And so why don't you stop giving him hell, your husband?
I'm trying. I mean, I will. I will, absolutely.
And how are you trying if your eyes are just on him? Because you named a bucket load of things that were wrong with him, and you named nothing that was wrong with you, knowing that you're secretly giving him hell that is adding to his insanity to drive him crazy.
You're right.
To drive him crazy.
I am very disorganized.
To drive him crazy.
Yeah, you're right. He says that too. He says I drive him crazy. I'm disorganized. I'm messy. These are things that don't help him.
You're more
I don't
than
believe
just,
in what he's experiencing, so I can't. I'm not really good at following the OCD directions, like what should be washed and what shouldn't be touching other things. That does probably not help him. So, okay, I have to be on board to an extent with what he's going through.
No, you have to stop. You have to work on you. You can't work on him. You have to work on you so you can stop adding to his insanity. Whatever his problems are, those are his problems. He got to work on those. They're not your problem. They're his. But you're adding to his problem by driving him crazy while you pretend that you care.
Okay. Yeah, you're right. You're right. Yes. Yes.
But why didn't you say that when we first started speaking?
I didn't. I don't know. It's early. I haven't finished my coffee, but I was very eager to talk to you. But yeah, that is true. Now it's coming. It makes sense now. But I actually think about myself and just he's been totally. I didn't realize how focused I've been on him as this, like blaming him for the source of all my misery. It's true. Not the case. I'm a pain in the butt.
How has he been dealing with your insanity?
Oh, that's probably why he's angry a lot of the time.
How has he been reacting to it? How has he been dealing with your insanity?
Just being mad, yelling at me, mostly.
And why don't you stop?
This is a lot of behavioral problems that I have. I think it would probably be more, now that I'm trying to be more present, that could help a lot. I got to work on that some more.
Well, that's the only thing that's going to save you from
listening.
That's the only thing that's going to save you from your misery is that you got to be present so you can overcome. You can overcome you.
Yeah, and I think that would give him some peace too, because I wouldn't be.
Well, whether if you
probably
if you overcome you, it's not going to give him any peace at all. The only thing that's going to give him peace is that he has to overcome his misery.
Right. Okay. Okay. Yeah, I see what you're saying. I do see it. I see it now. Okay. So I don't have to worry too much about the kids, but I should all be together.
What good would it do you to worry about the kids?
Huh. You're right.
No, that was a question.
Well, normally I would say worrying about them means I left them. But that's not true, is it?
You said worry mean what?
Worrying about them means that I care.
Care about what?
No, they're the children.
But worry is a worry is darkness pretend to be the light and making you think that you can fix and are fixing the problem, and you're not. No one that is worrying is in the light. They're in the darkness calling it the light. Worry is evil.
Yes. That's what you've been saying. I've been trying to.
So why do you call worry love them?
You're right. It's not. I don't know.
No, that was a question.
Right.
Why do you call worrying love? You said I love them. Why are you calling that love when it's evil and it's hate?
I guess because I don't know. You think, you want their best outcome for them. You want them to have a good life. And when things don't appear to be going in that direction, worry.
Right.
And if I didn't love them, I wouldn't care.
No.
What they were going through.
If you loved them, you wouldn't worry. You don't care at all. It's just an ego thrill to tell yourself that you care and to act out and pretend that you care and to say that you worry because I love them. It is all darkness. None of that is true.
Oh, gosh. It's just amazing. It's amazing. I've been working on this for so long, and you're so precise. You just slice right through all the BS. It's amazing. Thank you.
So you say your husband get upset because you don't clean the house and stuff, things like that?
It's like weird little things. Like I don't do it the way he likes.
Do you work?
The way. No.
You don't work,
Right.
So why don't you clean the house?
No, I do. Yeah, I know. I'm terrible. I'm a slob.
No, that was a question.
There's a thing that's not bad about me.
No, why don't you? I'm trying to understand. Why don't you clean the house?
Well, mostly it's the entertaining the children.
So you don't clean the house because you're entertaining the children? Well, that doesn't make sense.
No.
Why
I don't know. I feel like I do clean it, but it never looks clean because I keep cleaning, and it's like a constant fight.
So do you clean the house or don't you clean the house?
I clean it, and then it immediately becomes dirty. But it's not even. It's more like things like if I leave. I can't even think of it. It surprises me, honestly, the things he thinks of to be angry about. They're always something different. But,
I see. Why have you stayed with a man for so long that you're so miserable with?
Oh, I don't know, Jesse. I don't know. I don't
know why.
I loved my hell.
Yeah, the two demons love one another.
Yeah.
You love making him miserable, and he loved making you miserable, and that's why you guys have stayed together.
Okay. Yeah, that makes sense. I was before I got into your podcast.
Because if you guys leave one another, you got to find somebody else to make miserable.
I know. Yeah.
The devil lives off making other people miserable because the devil is evil spirits are miserable spirits. They're unhappy. They're lonely. They're angry. They're vicious. They're nasty. But they need to make other people that way so that they can feel good about being that way. And that's what you and your husband are doing to one another.
Mm-hmm.
That's why you have stayed. That's why you're going back, because you love making him miserable.
Oh, gosh. I would never have even imagined that was the case, but you're right. That's crazy.
So here's what I recommend is that forgive your husband, meaning don't be angry at him. He has his own problem, whatever they are, and you just work on you. Keep your eyes on it. Doesn't mean you don't speak up when you need to. You speak up when you need to, but take your eyes off of him and see the hell and what's going on in you so that the Father God can show you what to do, whether to stay or to go or whatever.
Okay.
He will work this whole thing out for you because right now you're so deep in darkness you can't see your way out.
So true. It's so true. Very confusing. I've been in a fog. No idea what to do.
Right.
But the silent prayer is awesome.
Are you doing the silent prayer every morning and night?
Yes. Yes.
And during the day, sometimes when you get caught up in your head, bring your mind back to your body. Your body is present, but your thoughts, your mind can be in the past or the future, thinking about what has happened, what's going to happen, what you're going to do, or blah, blah, blah.
So true.
And so just slightly bring your mind back to your body. That's where eternal life is. And the Spirit of the Father will work on you, and He will work out your situation. You will see whether to go or to stay or how to deal with your husband and the kids, yourself, and everything.
Wow. Okay. So that'll be clear at some point.
It will be made clear, but you got to stay working on you. And don't argue with your husband. No more arguing. Cut out the argument, and don't argue with the devil anymore. Inside of you or outside of you, inside of her. Can you hold on a minute, Marianne?
Yes, sir.
Hold on. Let me take a quick break. 888-77-JESSE. Let me go quickly back to Marianne. Marianne, any questions about anything?
Oh, I don't think I can think of any other questions right now, but I'm sure I might have to book a counseling session.
Okay. And Marianne, you got to stop arguing with your husband or anyone. Lay your weapon down and let the Spirit of truth fight your battle for you.
That sounds wonderful. Is it that easy? Is it really that easy?
And what do you mean by that easy?
Oh, it just sounds I don't know what this sounds like. I also had this thing, where I think I have to be, when you have to fight, you have to you have to really put in, I don't know. Not fighting is great. I love not fighting.
But
thank you.
So why do you fight?
I don't know. I don't know. It just comes out of me. It's the devil in me, I guess.
And have you noticed that fighting doesn't solve anything? It just makes it worse?
Yes.
Have you really seen that?
Lately. I've really noticed it lately.
But
it's a reaction. It's like an emotional reaction.
And those are evil spirits that want you to fight, because that's how they stay alive. They get life because they dwell in you. They get life from making you fight with yourself, with them, and with others. And the more misery they can bring upon you, the more life they get in their mind. They think they're getting life, but they're not.
It's so refreshing, and it's so true. And nobody, no psychologist will tell you that. Nobody else.
Yeah, they don't want you to know.
They want you to feed it.
Yeah, absolutely. They don't want you to know, because the psychiatrists, especially educated ones, they love their hell, and they don't want you to know you're in hell. They want you to stay in hell, so you need them. And if you notice, evil people cry out to evil people to save them, either to the government or to the psychiatrist or to the social service or whatever. Evil people cried out to evil, or preachers or whatever. Evil people are crying out to evil people to save them.
Wow. When you see it that way, it's very illuminating. It's true. Thank you.
So you're welcome. Just stay with the silent prayer. No more arguing with your husband. If you want to argue, let him argue by himself. And if you need to speak up about anything, speak up, but don't argue. And just be quiet. Be still so that you can overcome your misery.
Yes.
The spirits that made a home in you.
Yes. Yes, it has. Okay. Thank you so much, Jesse. God bless you.
I wish you well, Mary Ann.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Call me again.
I will.
All right. Bye.
Bye.
I want to go to Connor. Connor, our first time call out of Chicago. Connor, welcome to the show. You're on the air.
Oh, thank you so much, Jesse. I've been listening to you for so long. It's great to talk to you.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
So my parents live on the East Coast, and I went home to see my family, and my sister and my mom, they're very Democrat. And one time I showed my sister your show, and she got so mad at me. But so me and my dad used to go to the Trump rallies. And then when I went home this time, he said, "Oh, I think that we should vote for Kamala." And I was like, "What the?
What? No.
What it? You know, I forgave them,
right?
But that was very like confusing and like frustrating."
And your question is what?
How should I feel about this, or what should I? You know what I mean?
You should feel zero about it. Feel nothing about it. They can't see. So just wish them well and vote the way you want to vote. How old are you?
30.
Oh, man. Yeah, vote the way you want to vote, but wish them well. They cannot see. And I know it must be disappointing to see that your father have gone on the side, which if what you're saying is true, with with your mother, but just wish him well. He can't see either. But
yeah,
you
I
shouldn't be
him,
feeling anything about it. Don't be angry at them about it. Don't argue with them about it. You just wish them well, man. They cannot see.
That's good advice. Yeah, I told them, I said, well, the Democrats are lying because Nancy Pelosi said that Joe Biden should be new face on Mount Rushmore. Like, he's not telling the truth.
Yeah, but they already know, your parents know the Democrats are lying to them, but they're stuck in darkness and they can't see their way out. They know the Democrats are not the best thing for them at this point. But they may have a resentment toward Trump or a Republican Party, and that resentment, which is darkness, is keeping them from doing the right thing.
Ah.
So
yes.
just wish them well, and you vote the way you want to vote.
Yes, for Trump.
Yeah, all the way, the great white hope.
White hope.
That's right. Thank you, Connor. I appreciate you, man.
I appreciate you, too. Have a good day.
You too, buddy. Jaden out of California. Jaden, welcome to the show. You're on the air.
What's up, Jesse?
All is well, Jaden. Thanks for calling.
Yeah. I got a quick question just because it's Manhood Day.
Okay.
Is it okay to do what is deemed as bad stuff like drugs, like meth and Adderall, all this stuff, if you're just doing it every like once in a while, kind of like when you drink the coffee? You're not drinking the coffee like a drug. You just drink it to have fun, right? Is it okay to do that stuff if you don't make it like your God?
Well, if you're doing it, you are making it your God because it's keeping you unconscious. And you're doing it because you want to be unconscious. You can't handle reality.
But meth makes you more conscious, makes you more awake.
I promise you not one drug made you awake.
What the?
There's no such thing as a drug making you awake. And I've heard it over and over the years. I even know drug addicts who say that.
So why do you drink coffee then?
I know let me finish that first and I'll respond to that. I know drug addicts who say they're awake when they're on drugs or whatever. And
I know you're talking about that.
But they're not awake. But they make you feel. And you say, why do you drink coffee?
Right.
The reason that we used to drink it is for the energy.
Right, that's what I'm saying. But like with meth instead.
I wouldn't recommend you do it for that reason, Jaden. But you want to, even if you drink coffee in an unconscious state, it's going to have the same effect on you that drugs will have on you.
So anything that makes you go unconscious is bad then?
It's evil, yes. Because it keeps you away from the light.
Wow. Okay. That's easy, bro. I just have, when you were just talking before I joined about control anger.
Right.
If you can control yourself.
Right.
You know, I was taught when I was doing door-to-door sales, I was taught by the missionaries that you're not supposed to get rid of the anger. You're supposed to just not listen. You're supposed to be angry and not do it because that's what patience is. But you're saying that you should get rid of the anger altogether.
Absolutely. They lied to you. Anger is an evil spirit. It's worse than what I have expressed, Jaden. Anger is evil spirits, and they are the nature of evil. They're the nature of Satan. And they have made a home inside of your body, and they live through you, and they make you think that it is you. So maybe that's why the missionary people told you that, because they are angry and they think that is them. But when you become aware, it's the awareness, the spirit, the light of God that would cause them to depart from you. And if God had wanted you to be angry, why would he take it away from you?
That's what I'm saying. I agree with what you're saying. But it's just they were like, well, yeah, even if that's true, where's the challenge if you take it away versus if you overcome it every day and you have to be patient every day to, like, you know what I mean? Like, overcome it, if that makes sense.
No.
Oh, wow. So you can just get rid of it fully?
You personally can't get rid of it at all, but when you recognize that there is something that's driving you and it makes you think and do the things that you don't want to do and react and have fear and all that, when you see it and admit that you see it, it will be taken away from you fully. It would not even be in your body because it's in the mind and in the emotions of human beings. It's not them, but it presents itself as you.
And you think that fear comes from anger, or is it the other way around?
Without a doubt.
Oh, okay.
It is the nature. Anger is the nature of evil.
So if I get rid of my anger, I'll be able to do door-to-door sales without being fearful of whenever I go up to the door, they have a big dog like barking.
Well, you may have practical fear in that you want to be aware that there might be a dog so you can protect yourself, but you would not have that fear that tells you, oh, you're not going to get this sale, you're not going to get that sale. This is going to happen.
Really?
That would not be in your mind or body at all. You wouldn't even think of that.
Wow. I'm going to go back there. I'm going to try it. When I did it like a month ago, I was not following your silent prayer. I was so exhausted every day that I could just not do the silent prayer, and I suffered. But I want to know: is there a way? Because door-to-door sales, just real quick, it's like you have to like emotionally, kind of be emotional for them
Can
to
you hold one
buy
moment?
your stuff. Right?
Hold on.
Yeah.
Hold on, buddy. Let me take a quick break. I want to go back to Jaden, and there's a line open at 888-7753-773. And Jaden had a question about work, I believe. Am I right, Jaden?
Yep.
Okay, go ahead.
Finish up real quick. Basically, I do door-to-door sales.
Yeah.
Right? I sell pest control door-to-door.
Uh-huh.
And so part of our strategy is we get in the backyard with the person and we start negotiating the price. And I was just asking, is it wrong? Because when I'm on the doors, I really have to tap into this emotional thing to get people to sell. Like one time I was really like down, like I was on like the last like negotiation I could do, possible lowest. And I had to like dig deep into myself to find an emotional moment that made me sad. So I started to cry a little bit, and I was like, man, trust me, you're going to want to buy this. Like, you know.
So you were crying while talking to the person that might buy the product?
Because then they're like, "Whoa, this guy like cares so much. I should buy from him." And it almost worked. I almost got it. But is that wrong to do? Because I'm like getting the emotions.
Yeah.
But it's only for the job. Okay.
It is.
All right.
It is deceptive.
So no more acting. I can't act.
Here's what I recommend for you. Now you got to use what you got, I guess. But if you were free of emotions, you weren't in your head, you weren't listening to those thoughts, you would go in there a free man, and you would know your product really well. And if you know that your product works for the person, the spirit that will come from you while presenting the product to the customer will always win. Because you
like my aura?
What?
Like my aura?
The spirit of yeah. Because your aura be that of God. And
that's true.
And so you would be selling a product that you know works. You wouldn't be trying to rip the person off. You would be honest with the customer, and that sells better than the fake, phony emotional stuff because you're deceiving the customer.
Right. Dude, that's so right. Because if Jesus came up to me on my door and started selling me, like the aura I would feel, I would just buy like instantly. If Jesus
Absolutely.
Did it, right?
Absolutely.
So, yeah. Dude, I'm going to make so much money. Thank you, Jay. Thank you.
All right, man. So do the silent prayer, overcome thoughts and feelings, and you'll be fine.
Amazing.
Amazing.
Thank you. I'll donate when I get the money.
All right. Thank you, buddy.
Peace.
Let me know how it goes. Amazing. Let me go to Anna Marie out of California. Anna Marie, welcome to the show. You're on the air.
Good morning, Jesse.
Good morning.
I am calling about, I've been wanting to ask you this forever, or for quite a while. You keep saying that America's gone and we're not going to get our country back. Do I have that right?
Right.
Okay.
And I'm pronouncing your name correctly, right? Anna Marie?
People say Anne Marie or Anna Marie, whatever rolls off the tongue better.
Which one you prefer?
Either one is fine. Anne Marie.
Oh, okay.
Fine.
Go ahead.
Anna Marie. Yeah.
Anne Marie.
Okay. So, so you say that. I listen to you all the time for many years. But then Trump is saying something totally different. So I wanted to get your thoughts on that.
What is Trump saying?
Well, he's saying that, when he gets back into office, this, he lists off all the things that are going to change and get better. He says real fast, we're going to do it real fast. That's what he's saying at his rallies and everything, So he's making it sound very, positive, optimistic. We're going to get our country back. But I'm just wondering, that's all, what you mean when you say that.
When Trump is mentioned of getting the country back, he's talking about bringing back jobs, shutting down the borders, lower taxes, all these restrictions and regulations, building a strong military again. He's talking about he's going to get the country function in a physical way. But as far as my country as I know it, it's never coming back.
I agree. The country as we've known it is not coming back. And
right.
I'm kind of thinking that's a good thing, that it's not coming back the way it was, because it's been really corrupted for a very long time.
It's gonna be corrupted, and the corruption will get worse. But I'm talking about family, men, when men were in charge and running things, when women loved being women and obeyed the man if she had a husband, when children were free to be children and not have to worry about all this stuff in these schools, and women were not trying to pretend that they were equal to men, and when the order of God was working somewhat. I'm talking about that.
And you don't think you don't think that people's spirits will change, and they could change like overnight,
Well, a handful will, but most won't.
Oh, still a handful, huh? Even after all the suffering we've been through and everything we're witnessing together, you think that people are still going to remain, I don't know, stubborn and asleep?
Yes, because most people love their misery. They love their darkness. They love being afraid and lonely and sad and suicidal and post-traumatic. They love getting revenge or trying to get revenge on others. They love their misery. They don't want out.
And you don't think that as, like, especially, let's just say in America, that Americans won't just finally get tired of it and realize, or tired of the hell, and realize that we're all in this together and that we can work together? No,
that's not going to happen.
My son, he's 29 years old, and he said, there's something, I forget the word that he used, something optimistic that I am. And I said, it's like a negative optimism. I forget the word. But I'm like, I just have, and I mean, I figure while I'm here, while I'm alive, I'd rather be hopeful than
drop
the
your
alternative.
hope. Drop your hope. Yeah.
I was wondering what you'd say about that.
Hope is for dope.
What about keep hope alive? What about that?
What?
What about keep hope alive?
That's just a saying. Where is Jesse Jackson now? Hope is for dope.
So my son is right again.
Your son said you were optimistic or pessimistic?
He used he said optimistic, but I cannot remember the word he used. It was a couple of years ago.
What does optimist mean, Nick?
You see the positive.
You see the positive.
You're trying to look at the positive, trying to look at the good.
You don't see no positive, Anne-Marie.
Well, I hope for the positive.
That's why you got to drop hope. Hope is dope.
It feels better than to feel like
you shouldn't have hope. What?
When I talk to other people and they're just like, "Oh, we're done. It's over.
Yeah,
it's over for us." I hear people saying that.
Well,
it hurts my heart. Like, are you serious? How do we know that? God only knows. He's the only one.
And
who really
why
knows.
does it hurt your heart?
It's just I would rather hold on to the hopefulness that God can change.
But only
anything.
blind people hold on to hope.
Okay, maybe.
But
I
listen,
don't like to be called blind, but I'll take it from you. No.
Let me tell you this.
Go ahead.
Though I'm not going to get my country back, I'm still having peace on earth. I have perfect peace in spite of everything that's going around.
Yes.
Everything that's happening.
That I've noticed. I've had a lot more peace.
Yeah.
I used to be really, really upset about everything, about people not understanding the corruption that goes on behind the curtain and just everything. All the things about our food, our water, our everything, our vaccines. And then people were blind to what's happening right in front of them. That would so upset me for years.
Because they have fear. The masses of people have fear, and that's why the government, the media, the bosses of evil, they can control the people because they know the people have fear, and they have the masses of the bosses of the people, the government and other. They have the private meetings. And they call the meetings of the mind to figure out what's the next tactic they can use to keep the people in fear, because as long as they're afraid, you can control them.
That's absolutely true. So that's why I used to be really upset with my fellow Americans. You know what I mean? It's like, what's wrong with you? You don't see the control that they're doing and that we're buying into it.
Yeah.
And we're kind of paying for our own demise. We pay for it. Everything they do to us, we pay.
And pay big time, too. Not only in money, but in soul. You sell your soul to the devil.
Absolutely. Exactly. And so I used to be so upset about that, but I think I told you before, I had a heart attack 4 years ago during COVID, and I've slowly, more quickly, I guess, changed.
You had a heart attack?
Yes.
What the?
In July of 2020, that was fun. Don't be in the hospital during COVID. That was horrible.
I bet.
But anyway,
it seems weird when women have heart attack. It's like a man thing to do, but not a woman thing.
Well, that's another thing. I'll talk to you another time about that. But I really wanted to talk to you someday about this whole man issue about women wanting to be leaders,
Okay.
you know, and that we're not leaders.
Right.
I totally agree with you. I've felt that my whole life since I was a young woman, teenager. I felt like I'm not a leader, and I would rather follow.
In the good old days, the women knew that, and they said, "No, woman ain't supposed to be leading. I ain't going to no church with no woman leader. I ain't gonna have no female boss." They knew that it was awful.
I remember,
and it doesn't work. But those women either are dead or they don't speak out anymore.
Exactly. They don't really speak out. I do. And people get shocked by what I say because I really believe it. But when I was a teenager in a very liberal town of Santa Cruz, California, and I'm from the Midwest, so I had just moved here. Very liberal, young women my age were feminists. And I would just right out say, honestly, I am not a feminist at all. And they would be shocked. And they would say, "What do you mean you're not a feminist? You're a woman. How could you not be a feminist?" And it was the same conversation over and over again, but I felt like having it every time, like they need to hear something different. And I said, we don't need another war in the world.
That's right. I'm going to have to run, Anne-Marie.
Yes. Okay,
but
thank
it
you.
was fun talking to you. Don't be having any more heart attacks. What the?
I know. I'm just chilling out now, but I'll call you again.
A heart attack is a smack attack.
I felt like God rung my bell because I wasn't changing.
I'm telling
you. So
listen, Hake has a quick question for you.
Okay.
And for some reason, you need to know this.
Uh-oh.
Is your name, hey, Anne-Marie, is your name all one word?
It's so funny. No, it's separate. It's A-N-N-E, separate name Marie.
Nice. Thank you. I like to have it right.
All right, thank you.
In my notes.
And I do listen to you too, Hake.
Oh, thank you.
You guys are great. Yeah.
Sweet.
I love you guys.
Love you too. Call me again, all right?
Yes, I will. I will have something really important to talk to you about. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Have a great day. Bye-bye.
You too. Thank you. Let me try Daniel again, a first-time caller. See if his phone working there. Daniel, let's try it again out of Texas.
Yes, sir. Jesse, can you hear me now?
100%.
Excellent. I was saying, I found you on YouTube on Get a Job, and I thought that was really entertaining. And I started tuning into your show after that, and it's become really informative to me. But the reason for my call today was because I have noticed that I started taking some things, or what I perceive to take some things from your show. I started doing the silent prayer. I started trying to get myself like in silence.
Yes.
Just kind of study what's going on, be just aware of my surroundings and what's actually going on around me. And I've noticed that everything in my life started getting a little bit better.
Yes.
Because of the effort that I was putting into it. But one of my best friends was telling me, who he's actually a family member of mine also, was that why all this started was because of the fact that I noticed that everybody that I was close to kind of started drifting away from me.
Yes.
And it really started building, I hate to say it, feelings, but what I come to find out is that I had a lot of beta tendencies.
Yeah.
And beta. But as I started trying to isolate myself from the things that I believed that were bothering me, my friend told me, he said, all these people that were drifting away from me, he made the comment, he said, it's just painful to be around you because you're not yourself. And because I was always pretty happy, go lucky, cheery, and just kind of an optimist. But as I tried to find myself, my relationship with my wife has become worse. I mean, way worse. And I try not to think about it too much because you get lost in your own thoughts and bad things can come of that. But I believe a lot of it, is because I tried to take ownership of my family and become the man that I know that or I feel that, well, not that I feel, but that I know that the Lord has required me to be.
Yes.
And as I've tried to insert my guidance in my family's life, my wife has resisted from that.
Yep.
So much to a point to where she signed us up to go to counseling, and I went because I wanted, things to be better. The counselor even kind of was like, something's not right here, and wanted to speak with me by myself, because my wife would always interject in our conversations. When she would try to talk to me and ask me a question, she would try to answer for me.
Yep.
And I just believe that, everybody's got their own voice and they need to speak for themselves.
Mama always jump in because Mama doesn't want the truth to get out there.
Yes, sir. And I've noticed, though, since I've been really focusing, because I was always told I was the problem. And she always told me that I was the problem. I was the problem. So I tried to fix me because I was the problem. And and this is when I started finding you, it's like everything started clicking into place. I started doing your silent prayer, just finding time throughout every day to just, whether I'm at work or anywhere else, just to remove myself from whatever's going on and to just be silent, be still, and to just close my eyes and give it to the Lord. People around me have started making comments about whatever I'm doing, keep doing it. Everybody's talking about quiet confidence and just able to make just rash. I got the biggest thing I got out of and I could be wrong, but the biggest thing I've got out of just listening to your show is to be logical, not emotional.
Absolutely.
What makes sense? It's either right or wrong.
Yep.
Left or right. There's sometimes there's gray in some of it, but if you can make a decision on it pretty quick, that is usually the right decision.
Yes, absolutely.
But you're being the Lord gave you a good sense and your gut instinct that you know what's right. You know what's right if you can just get your feelings out of it. But my biggest issue that I'm going through now is that all of these, everybody else says they see it. And I feel it. I feel it. Well, I feel it. I know it.
Yeah.
But it's just caused bigger issues with my wife.
When you
now she wants to be a psychologist, and and I don't agree with that. And she said if I don't do that, she wants to file for divorce. And I don't know whether I need to just stay with what I'm doing, and if that's what she decides to do, to let it be. But I've hung in this for so long just because of my family.
Yeah, you have children with her?
Yes, sir.
How many children?
One.
How old are?
Just turned 15.
Oh, okay. Go ahead.
And I honestly am afraid. I am concerned with if I'm not at the house and I'm not trying to put, just to guide my child a little bit, what she would do with them while I wasn't there. And that's been the main reason why I've tried to stay strong and to stay with this. But it's like it really is like the more that I try to push forward to try to make things better on that end, there's just overwhelming resistance back to where I've been called everything from selfish, from trying to fix the problems that I thought that were the problem. And I even asked her. I said, "Do you pray about this?" And she can never get a straight answer. Every time I say something, it's like it's always that. Well, I think I'm better than her, and it's just anything under the sun. And it just, I don't know if I need to try to keep the path that I'm going, because I know everybody can also steer you wrong. Just because somebody says it's so doesn't mean it's so.
That's right.
But everybody and their mama just told me that whatever positive change is going on, just keep it up, because it's made everything at work better. It's made my family really didn't want a whole lot to do with me because of this. They didn't want that negative in their life. And I haven't really, I did what you talked about. I forgave my mom. I called her, visited with her, made that right. And every other relationship in my life, work, family, whatever, has gotten so much better because of, for lack of a better term, the quiet confidence and the faith that I have that all you can do is what you can do.
Yes.
And but all of that's gotten better, except my relationship with my wife.
And so your question for me is what?
Do I need to keep trying to do everything else that I'm doing in hopes that rubs off on her, or do I just need? She wants out. She just keeps telling me to pack my things and leave, and I just keep coming home every day and just keep on keeping on. I don't know if it's worth. I'm really dumbfounded when it comes to her. I've even tried to turn her on to the silent prayer and to show her some things that I've learned, and it's just completely rejected out of hand. Just absolutely not. And I want to be there for my family. I really do. My gut instinct on it is that I'm not going to be able to make an impact to fix what's going on between us.
And so your question is what?
Should I just cut my losses on that and just try to do the best with the time with my child that I'll have? Or do I need to try to hang in there with her when she doesn't really want me there and give up time with my child because of just selfishness and not having their way?
The greatest commandment is that we should love God with all our heart, soul, and might, along with nobody or nothing else. There should be no one or anything else more important than the truth itself. And when you love him, he's going to work your life out for you. It's going to be amazing. And so you sound like you're working on yourself, and it is working. Here's what I recommend. Because, according to what you've said, your wife is not working on herself. And so now the light in you is what she's seeing, but the devil, the darkness in her, hate the light in you. And it's working overtime to try to draw you back into the darkness. That's why she wants you to go see counselor, psychology, and doing this and doing that. And she's threatened to leave. Here's what I recommend. Don't ask her to leave at this point, but if she says, I'm leaving, just say, oh, okay, goodbye. I wish you well. And let her go, but you stay in your house if you can. Your son is 15. Ask your son, your mother is threatened to leave. Do you want to stay with me or do you want to stay with her? Go with her. And let him decide. He's 15 now, and you'll be fine. Right. But you continue to work on you. Your wife is in hell. She's losing control over you. She's losing that you're not following her or wishing her. And the devil in her, those spirits are having a hissing fit because it's losing a life when it's losing you. You let her go. You let her go. Don't be mad at her and anything she cannot see. But if she want to go, don't argue her. Don't be all hurt. Just say, okay, you can leave. I'm staying. And if your son says he want to stay with you, then my son's staying with me. Can you hold for a minute?
Yes, sir.
Oh, hold on, buddy. I want to go quickly back to Daniel, first time call out of Texas. So Daniel was saying that he is working on himself now. He's waking up. He's doing a silent prayer. He went and forgave his parents. And now his wife want to leave him. The more freer he become, the worse she is getting. And he has one son, 15 years old. And the wife, he went to see a counselor with her. Now she wants him to see a psychology and all that kind of madness. Daniel want to know what the... Hey, Daniel.
Yes, sir.
Thank you
That's
for...
exactly what the...
So here's what I recommend. Do what you want, all right? I would, if she want to leave, don't see any more of those stupid psychologists and psychiatrists and counselors that she's referring you to. She is still trying to control you. She's losing control of you. The spirit of evil inside of her losing control over you. And she doesn't know how to handle it. She doesn't know what to do. And so let her act out. Don't react. Let her say what she wants. Don't overreact. And if she say, I'm leaving, I'm going and I'm taking my son. Your son is 15 years old. Ask him if he want to stay with you or her. If he says he want to go with her, let him go with her. If he want to stay with you, let him stay with you. And if he want to go with her, but he want to come see you or call you, he can freely do that. And this woman said, I'm leaving. Just say, oh, okay, bye. And if she find out that doesn't work because you're not overreacting, she'll say, well, I'm staying. Oh, okay, you can stay. Right on. But let her do what she wants. If she get violent, call the police right away and have her locked up. Because she'll try to destroy you one way or another. And so if she hit you or touch you, don't say, oh, but next time she does it, I'm going to call the cops. You call the cops then. And because she have evil demons in her, and especially if she's not working on herself, she going to build an army against you. She's going to start telling people things about you, your family members and others, and they're going to take side.
Right.
And they're going to take side and join her, and even though they have no idea what they know at all or not know, it doesn't even matter, not their business. But they're going to take side. You let them go too. Don't try to force them. Don't try to convince anyone. Don't try to convince your wife. You continue to seek the Father because the Father is drawing you unto Him. You want what's right, and that's why your life is changing.
Yes, sir. You're absolutely right. I know you got to go, but one more thing. You know, what you were talking about, like having people turn against you, and she's exactly done that. And honestly, I thought it would be a lot harder hearing all those things than I did, but it just kind of made everything a lot more clear.
Yes.
That sounds crazy, but
no, it doesn't. You're absolutely right. Clear. Yes.
When she did that, I was like, I kept thinking to myself, like, all she's doing is showing herself more clear to me.
Yes.
Because if you care about somebody, you're not going to want to tear them down to keep them with you. So.
Absolutely.
Jesse, I appreciate you so much, man. Keep up the amazing work, man. Amazing.
I will. Amazing. But listen, and you're right. You're seeing the real her now. And when she builds this army against you, you're going to see the real so-called family members and friends. You're going to see that they were never friends. It was all a pretense. You were pretending to be friends with them, and they were pretending to be friends with you. It was never real. Everything is so fake. Nothing is real. Everything is an illusion. And now you're coming to see reality.
Yes, sir. Well, thank you so much, Jesse. I appreciate you.
Is any other question about anything?
No, sir. No, that was everything that I kind of already knew, and you made it perfectly clear. Absolutely. Thank you so much.
And you're welcome. But once again, don't try to convince your wife to change. You can tell her and point the way, but that's it. Don't force it. Don't try to preach to her. If she want to leave, just say, you're welcome to go. Okay, bye. Because you want what's right. Don't sell your soul. Don't make a deal with the devil. Oh, devil, I'll start working on myself if you let me keep my wife. The devil's going to turn on you anyway. He will deceive. He will eventually turn anyway. And that means your wife will eventually turn on you anyway.
No, sir. I believe that, we're all here to be stewards of our lives, and to, I think that I have to be the example for my son that, that he needs to be. And kids are not stupid. They see what's going on too. And if I reduce myself to her behavior, it's just going to be worse on my son. So
Absolutely. Absolutely. Wow. I wish you well, Daniel. Stay with it. Stay with it. Stay with it.
yes, sir. Thank you so much. Bless you.
You too, buddy. Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Amazing. There are some people waking up. I'm telling you. If you want the truth will come. But if you don't want it, if you don't invite the truth, it's not coming. He's not like evil. Evil imposes itself upon you. The truth comes when you invite it. It needs an invitation. It needs to be invited in. And once you invite it in, that's it. Then the opposed darkness has to leave, and it will. And as I said, our governments are no good nowhere. That's why they're called government. They want to govern you and control you. CBN has reported at least 1 million Muslims are choosing to follow Christ. At least 1 million Muslims are choosing to follow Christ, especially in Iran, as people search for a better life. Even the Allahu Akbar people are in pain. And they can say Allahu Akbar so perfectly it makes you want to cry. But they're in pain. They're in misery. And according to this report, they have decided to follow Christ. Iranians are growing tired of the what is it? That doesn't sound right. Ayatollahs. Ayatollahs. What the? The Iranians are growing tired of the Ayatollahs, leaders, and a nation led by the empty promises of their Islamic theocracy. They're growing tired of it. No more Allahu Akbar for them. It's not working. Just like our government is not working. Just like Israel government is not working. And Ayatollahs are those leaders, are the so-called religious leaders, right? Their government is not working. And the people say, well, we're going to give Christ a chance. And all they have been given are empty promises. And that's exactly what our government does. If you pay attention to what the speakers are saying over there at the stupid Democratic National event, all empty promises. All empty. Listen, it's just empty promises. You can't save the world with social empty promises. It never has worked, and it never will work. It never has worked, and it never will work. It's just a bunch of empty promises. I want you to see this soundbite from CBN. Watch this from CBN.
Amidst wars and rumors of bigger conflicts in the Middle East region, there is some good news. An unprecedented number of Muslims are choosing to follow Christ. In Iran, 50,000 out of 75,000 mosques have closed, as 80% of Iranians express their dissatisfaction with the government and their desire to see democracy replace it.
Well, one of the things that's happened since 1979 is the government of Iran has been the mullahs. It's been the Islamic leaders, and they have made this claim that, hey, we are running our country according to Islamic principles. We're going to follow the Quran down to a T. We're going to run everything in the country just the way Islam tells us to. Well, we're now 45 years into that little experiment, and you have a country with one of the highest drug addiction rates in the world. You have a country where corruption runs rampant. You have a country where more than half the people live below the poverty line. And the people of Iran are looking at this and they're saying, wait a minute, if this is what Islam has brought us in the last 45 years, we're not interested.
They were not talking about America. Does it sound like he was talking about in America? That's here. I mean, that over there. It's the same problems because it's the same spirit. You see those Muslim leaders in their heavy big robes and rats around their heads and praying to Allah. Behind those clothes are evil spirits, evil human beings. And as long as they can control you with Allahu Akbar, they will. And it's not going to work. All they're doing is they're just making empty promises, and they know it. Drugs and no work, everything bad over there, just like here. And all this government has done for us over the years is giving us empty promises. And you keep falling for it. Here's the government response to Muslims turning to Christ.
How's the regime reacting to this? We've heard 50,000 of 75,000 mosques have closed, and I'm sure they aren't accepting that very well.
No, this is not something that is making the regime happy. And really, in many ways, they are seeking to solidify their power and to crush any kind of dissent. And they certainly see the growth of the church. They certainly see Christian evangelism as a form of dissent. That's undermining the Islamic regime. And so you have Christians being arrested, particularly leaders. We have heard multiple stories this year of a Bible study, a home church being raided. Everyone there is photographed, everyone there is questioned, but then the leader of the meeting is held onto. They are arrested, they are detained, they're put in prison. And so there really is a concerted effort to go after the leaders and the people who are spreading Christianity and inviting other Muslims to come and follow Christ.
Amazing. Exactly what is happening here. This is why they're going after the white man. The white man trying to be a Christian. The white man in America trying to teach others or encourage others to be Christians. Why do you think they're going after Trump so desperately? They don't want any white man to be the leader or to point the way to Christ. And they put you in jail. They spy on you. They have people who tell on you. Whatever it takes. It's the same thing. They fight to keep you under control. That's what they're doing to the blacks. They tell the blacks, oh, that party over there is a racist party. That party over there is a party of the KKK, the skinheads, or whatever else they call it. Because they're doing they don't want to lose control over you, so they come for you. Who are you trying to escape the plantation of my ideas? Who are you to think that you can have your own ideas, and who will I control if I can no longer control you? What does the wife do when the husband decides he's not going to cater to her anymore? She cries. And she builds an army of people who agrees with her how bad that old husband of yours is. He doesn't worship you. And then her God, the devil, tell her, take him to court. Take every dime he got. Take his money. Take his job. Destroy him and take his children. And she goes to court. And she cries. And the evil judge fall for it, pretending he doesn't know what's going on. Or she. now that they have female judges. It's the same thing over there that's happening over here in every country. Here are the received responses from a minister in the area called the Tide Ministry. Watch this.
Don Schenk serves as executive director of the Tide Ministry. He explains how Muslims are experiencing dreams and visions, leading many to find purpose and a different understanding of God.
We get responses from listeners who say, now I understand that God loves me. I always thought that God wanted to punish me. And I think there's an awakening, as I said, that's taking place across the Muslim world.
Schenk states that Tide Ministry radio broadcasts are receiving positive responses in Afghanistan, where the Taliban pose great danger for those seeking information from secret Christians within the country.
There's a lot of suspicion of, if I'm going to meet with these people and share that I'm now a believer, are they really true believers? Or are they just trying to identify me? It's more than simply being ostracized or disowned by your family. It is actually the threat of death.
Amazing. That's your government for you all around the world. The government has never been and never will be and ain't going to be, can't be your friends. They love power. Every evil human being, and every human being is evil until they return to the Father. Every anger is evil. Anyone that has anger is evil. And don't try to compare your anger to Jesus. Satan is tricky, making a fool out of you. Your human anger has nothing to do with Jesus. Jesus never had human anger. But anyway, every human being heart is wicked. They want power. That's why you fight. That's why you fight one another. That's why you fight in your head. By arguing with the evil spirits. And you argue with Satan inside of other human beings. Never try to make a relationship work. Don't try to make a marriage work. Don't try to make friendship work. Stop catering to people. Either it works naturally or it doesn't. 888-7753-773. First time caller in out of Connecticut. And welcome to the show. You're on the air.
Hi there. I got it on speakerphone right now. I apologize. Let me turn that off.
Okay.
Okay. So, thanks for taking my call.
You're welcome. Thanks for calling.
So I spent the last 3 years working on forgiving my father and my mother, and I have an older brother who was really abusive, and so him too. And it went pretty well, and then my brother recently went psychotic, and so I kind of threw a wrench in it, but I still forgive him. But what I'm struggling with the most is forgiving myself and my wife.
You say you have a self and your wife?
Yeah,
okay.
My wife. I've been with her for 25 years, and we have 3 kids, a kid in college, and I've been emotionally abusive to her.
And why? And why?
What's that?
Why?
Why? Well, after I got to know her, I felt like head over heels for her. I had never felt that way, and I know you'll have stuff to say about that, but you know what I mean. You know what I mean when I say that.
Yes.
And we made the horrible mistake of disclosing our sexual history, and hers crushed me, and I never got over it.
Oh, yeah, that's why couples are not supposed to discuss their past with anyone, because the ego will not let you forget.
Yep. Yeah, I can't forget it. And so I've been I just bottled it up for years, and then after we were together for like 5 years, I just like fucking unloaded on her. And then a couple of years later, it happened again. But like it was bad. It was like she's like, you have to go to therapy, because it was like 3 months of this continuous me being a psycho.
Why did you think you need to what made you discuss with her past history, sexual history? Why was that even necessary?
Well, I mean, I don't think that's here or there, but she brought it up. And at first I was like, I don't think I want to do this.
Yeah.
And then later on, it just sort of happened. And it was a bad idea.
And so your question for me is what?
Well, I've been, like, I'm not, she's not a disciplinarian with my children, with our children.
All right.
So I have to do most of the disciplining. And so sometimes I go overboard. I don't hit my kids. I don't scream in their face, but I get angry.
Yeah.
And when I'm angry, I'm scary. So I've scared my children a number of times. And I can't forgive myself for it.
And so your question is what?
How do I forgive myself?
And who is the self that you're forgiven?
Me.
And who are you?
I don't know.
You don't know who you are?
I don't know how to answer that question.
And Rita, I'm asking because I want you to know there is no self to forgive. And when you're angry, yelling at the kids or at your wife or what she's told you, that is not you doing that. It's just an evil spirit that has made a home in your mind and body. It caused you to do it, and then it judges you, it accuses you, and tells you you're an awful person. Look at you, you're yelling at your own kids, you're yelling at your wife, and it reminds you of the things that your wife told you about her sexual life. And it played all you're doing wrong is that you're listening to thoughts that's bringing on these feelings, and you believe that is you, but it's not you at all. And if you want to overcome this, you got to just let every thought pass. Stop listening to them. Stop calling them you, because I promise you, it is not you at all. You don't make yourself remember that. You don't those things. You don't make yourself angry at your children. You're possessed with evil spirits in your mind, and you think it's you. There is no you to forgive or be angry at, because you have never done anything wrong. How can you do something wrong when there is no you? Hello?
Yeah, I'm here.
What do you think about that?
It's interesting.
Just think about.
I kind of get it. I get it to a degree.
Yeah, well, that small degree of getting it is the light of God that is allowing you to see that those thoughts are not you, those feelings are not you. And if you stay with it in the light, stay present, it's going to get brighter and brighter, and all those thoughts and all those emotions will disappear. They'll be taken away from you, out of your body, out of your mind, by God. And then they will be no more. You'll be free. You'll have a clear mind, and you would never remember what your wife said or anything. Or if you remember, it wouldn't bother you at all. It would just be facts that you remember if you want to share it with somebody, but it will have no effect on you. Right now, you're being affected by evil spirits that are bringing these things to your remembrance, and you're thinking that you. It's not you. You have no reason to feel guilty because you have not done anything wrong, I promise you. You're just living in your imagination. Come out of your thoughts. Come out of the imagination.
Yeah, I definitely agree that I have to do that.
That's the only way you're going to survive. Is you got to come out of the darkness into the light. You're listening to evil spirits, calling them in. Never call them you again. Don't say, I feel this. And even though you may feel the pain in the body for a while, but don't say you. It's in the body, but it's not in you.
Yeah.
You're not your thoughts. You're not your feelings. You're not your body.
So what am I?
When you let go of this false self, these thoughts and feelings and bodies and all that, stop identifying with all that, the real you will appear and you will remember in again. You just forgot who you are, who you were traumatized by your mother. You don't remember who you are, but you will remember again when you overcome the false self. You're not those emotions. You're not any of those things, but you got to overcome them. Have you forgiven your mother?
Yeah, I mean, she died when I was 15, so I can't do it in person. But
just realize she can help herself. How about your father?
No, I haven't.
And why not?
Because I'm just bitter and angry. He I mean, I could tell you all the reasons why. I don't know if it matters, but he abandoned me and my sister after our mother died. So I just,
Yeah, well,
I just hold on to that. I hold on to anger.
You got to go to him and forgive him. He could not help himself. You are suffering not because he abandoned you. You're suffering not because your mother died at such a young age for you. You're suffering because you're angry and your heart is evil. And the evil is the nature of the devil. But when you forgive, your father can help himself, your mother, just like you can't help yourself. Something that is driving you. It's not you. They can help themselves. Forgive your father. God will forgive you, and you'll be fine.
Yep, I agree with all that.
So work on yourself, man, and stop accepting this idea that you got to forgive yourself. It's not you. God knows that. He knows you've never done anything wrong, so he's not accusing you. That's the devil accusing you. Evil makes you do wrong and then accuse you for doing wrong, and you think it's you. Are you doing the silent prayer in?
I do it. I don't do it consistently, but I do it.
Well, get serious about your life. Start working on you so everything can be made clear for you. Then you'll pass down love, real love, to your wife and children, and they will be fine.
All right.
Apologize to your wife for being so cruel, and then just cut it out. Just quietly work on yourself, all right?
All right, thank you.
Let me know how it goes, Ian.
Okay.
All right, go and forgive your father, man, and let go of the false self. You stop calling yourself any of those things.
All right.
All right, buddy.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Let me go to the first time caller, Austin, out of Florida. Austin, welcome to the show. You're on the air.
What's up, Jesse? How you doing?
All is well, Austin. Thanks for calling.
So I basically, I want to tell you the situation I'm going through. Pretty weird situation. So I just turned 20. I go to college. I live with my dad and my mom, my parents. Basically, my dad is a big follower of Dr. Umar, and he believes that black people should only be with other black people. But I don't actually like the black women in this city here.
Are you black?
Yes, I am.
Okay, go ahead.
And I don't really like the black women in this city, and I'm more drawn to white women. The white women are drawn to me as well. So I don't really know what to do. And my dad said if I bring home another white woman, that he's going to make me pay rent in his house. And I'm thinking about either moving out or I don't really know what to do.
And so your question for me is what?
What should I do?
Oh,
Do you
okay.
think that that's right what he's doing? Should I pay the rent or should I move out?
Well, one thing for sure, he's right in having you pay rent. You're grown now. You're a man. So if you don't want to pay rent to him, you should move out and just deal with life and grow up and do whatever you want to do. But he
But
shouldn't,
I don't.
even if you were not dating white women, he shouldn't let you live there free, even though you're in college. Even while you're in college, you should be working and taking
I am
care.
working. I do have a job.
Oh,
I do have a job.
so yeah, you should definitely pay some rent. And why don't you like black women over there?
I don't know. They're just very ratchet. I haven't found like a decent, common, decent black chick in my area. They're just all
okay.
very ratchet.
Oh, I got you. Well, you should date whatever color woman you want. White, red, Chinese, whatever. That's on you. But your father have a right to say if he doesn't want that in his house or if he doesn't want you're going to have to pay rent. That's his house, and he has the right to do what he want to do in his house. And so
I understand, but like, do you think that he never made me pay rent before, and now all of a sudden that I bring a white girl home, now all of a sudden I have to pay rent, and none of his other kids paid rent either. I have 2 brothers and 1 sister, and none of them ever paid rent before me. And now that I bring home a white girl, all of a sudden I have to pay rent.
But what you do is your father say, okay, you're going to have to pay rent if you bring a white girl home. Just say, okay, I'll pay rent. Don't argue about it. Don't compare yourself to the other siblings. You got to live your life. And again, he's right in that you have to pay, whether you agree with it or not, or maybe his motives are not right, but you're in his house and you're a grown man, you can easily be on your own.
My relationship we've kind of been separated over the last year, I'd say, because of what's going on politically. And he's a really staunch supporter of, he really loved Barack Obama back in the day.
Yeah.
So he's going to support Kamala Harris. And I grew up around a bunch of white people, so I'm going to support Donald Trump. And we've been having arguments back and forth. And he wants me to vote for it. I think that's the part of it, and him wanting me to support Kamala Harris. And I don't really support Kamala Harris, but that's kind of what started the whole thing. And then when I brought the white girl home, it was kind of like, yeah, that was the final straw. That was the straw that broke the camel's back.
So, Austin, it's time. You're 20-something. You're grown. It's time to move out.
Yeah.
It's time for you to move out and start your life. Live your life.
Yeah, I know.
And then stop arguing with your father about anything. Don't try to prove anything to him. Do not argue with him about anything. He has a right to do it the way he wants to, and you have a right to do it the way you want to. But you got to move out so you can live your life.
Yeah, I got to find another. I have a part-time job right now. I got to find another part-time job.
Yeah, get a full-time job or 2 part-time job and go and live your life. And don't argue with your father about this, because it's his house, and you're not a kid, so you're old enough to be on your own. And again, he has a right to do it his way in his house, so don't be angry with him about it.
I wouldn't say I'm really angry. It's more like confused.
But don't be confused. Just say, oh, okay, Dad, I see what you want. I understand. I'm going to get my own place. Don't argue about it at all.
But should I still try to make the relationship better, or should I just leave and just because I feel like if I leave right now, which would probably be the best thing for me, I feel like I'd ruin the relationship with my father. You know what I mean?
If your father is going to go against you from growing up and going out and doing your thing, you don't have a relationship anyway. It's not a good relationship. And you should never, the one thing I want you to remember, as long as you live, you're young, you should never, ever, 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 but never try to make a relationship work with anyone, with your parents, if you get married, when you're dating your girlfriend, your wife. Don't ever try to make a relationship work. Either it works naturally on its own or it doesn't happen. And so you just don't be angry at your father, and forgive him before you leave for whatever anger you may, or just whatever anger you may have toward him, forgive him and forgive your mother so that you won't have anger and you will see clearly there's never a reason to be angry. You'll be fine.
All right, I gotta pray on it or something, man. I gotta figure out something to do. But I like the advice that you just gave me, though, Jesse. I like the advice.
Yeah,
but,
don't be angry at your parents about anything. They have especially in their home. Again, I'm repeating myself. You're a grown man. You really have no business living at home at this age, right? And then when
I mean, statistics show that a bunch of kids my age live at home. But I understand what you're saying. I need to grow up. I understand what you're saying, but yeah.
But you're right. Another caller called earlier. He was saying the same thing. You're right. The stats are showing that men are staying home now rather than moving out. But if you notice, as men are staying home, society is becoming weaker. The men are becoming...
They are.
And the men are becoming weaker. Society because men are not functioning. Men are the light of the world. And if you're not out there letting your light shine, then only darkness is in the world. And the women and the children will suffer for that.
Yeah, I think a lot of men are becoming more feminine now. I'm never that kind of person, but feminism is ruining the world right now. Like everything that's going on right now is because of feminism. If we elect Kamala Harris, that's what I was telling him. If we elect Kamala Harris, it's going to be way worse for strong men.
It's going to be worse than, you're right about that, man. And it's going to be worse than what you and I can even imagine. It really going to be, it's going to be hell on earth. And, but feminism is causing a major problem in the country and in the world. But it's because men are not the light. This couldn't happen because the authority is in the man. It's not in the woman. It's in the father. It's in the man. But if the men were to stand up and speak up, don't be angry, and just deal with life, then feminism could not do what it is doing either.
Exactly. That's why we need the Great White Hope back, right?
Yo, great.
I watched one.
You go ahead.
I watched one of your shows back. I mean, I think it was last week, and I heard you call Donald Trump the Great White Hope. So we guess we need the Great White Hope back, right?
Let me see what the Great White Hope has to say.
Oh, Don, you're a little controversial. You're talking about illegal immigration. I said it's illegal.
Amazing. The Great White Hope. Thank you, Austin. Call me again. I got to run, but don't be angry at your parents. Forgive them. And then if your father said, well, you bring a white girl here, you got to move, don't argue about it at all. Just say, oh, okay, I understand that. I'll find me a place. But don't be angry.
All right. Thank you, Jesse. Bye, Daddy.
I wish you well, man. But let me ask. I could be wrong, but did you call Joel Friday show once? And you said that black people were created by God to serve the whites, something like that. It's been a minute, so I don't want to misquote you. What did you say?
Yeah, I said, some guy had called Joel's show, and he said he saw that blacks were created to serve the whites. And I told Joel I agreed with that because it's when you serve somebody, you're actually serving yourself. And it's really about like knowing your role, knowing what you're good at. Everybody's good at different things, and it's about recognizing that and not trying. It's kind of like a football team. Everyone has to play their role in order for all of us to be successful. But everybody can't be the quarterback. Everybody can't be Jordan. Some people have to be Dennis Rodman and get rebounds. And that's what with the different races and cultures. We all have different talents and stuff that we're good at.
And so the black talent is being good servers of white people?
when it comes to societies, yeah, I would say, I mean, blacks, we're good at physical things, sports, entertainment. That's just what we're good at.
But you can train a monkey to be good at entertaining.
Well, yeah.
And so have you told anyone else, any other black people or person other than Joel and the world, that black people were created by God to serve whites?
I haven't had that conversation with anybody.
You haven't told your mama or anybody?
I will if that conversation comes up. If I happen to have that, it's. I mean, but the whites are serving the blacks.
How?
In the same way.
How the whites serving? By taking care of them?
I mean,
how the whites serving the blacks?
By playing their role, focusing on what they're good at, and playing their role, not trying to be black. It's a lot of whites that are trying to be black in America now. They want to be blacks, and I want to be around whites that are like Hake, he's just a straight up white guy.
Hake?
He's not trying to be black.
You said Hake? Yeah, you're right. He white.
Yeah. He's white.
And
that's what I mean by this.
What do you think your mama gonna say when you tell her that you believe blacks were created by God to serve white? What would your mama say?
She thinks like she's Oprah. She loves Oprah, and she. This is old news. She already thinks I'm a little. We disagree on everything, just about.
Oh, I see.
So, yeah, it wouldn't be surprised.
Oh, okay. Very interesting, though. I when I heard that, I didn't immediately throw it out as a bad idea. I just want to make sure I heard what I heard.
All right.
And you say the white.
But you know what? Okay, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
It's the same argument as, are women created to lead or follow?
Oh.
It's the same thing. The blacks know their role. A woman should know her role. The Chinese should know their role, and men should know their role. It's about knowing your role and staying in your own lane. That's
so are you saying that Chinese role is to make rice?
Yeah, I love Chinese sweet and sour chicken and fried rice. I love that. That's my favorite food. And if they just stick to being them, that's how everybody wins.
Amazing. And did you say that white people are the quarterbacks?
Yeah, they're the Jordan. They're the Michael Jordan.
Oh.
Everybody, but black people are more like the Dennis Rodman. Dennis Rodman, he can't score points, but he averaged 20 rebounds per game.
Yeah.
And that's his role, And, everybody wants to be Jordan, but, you have to recognize, look, I'm just going to be the Dennis Rodman, and just...
Well, I do notice that everybody want to be white, that's for sure.
Yeah.
Except for the Jews. I don't know if the Jews want to be white.
They're really good at, they have their own role, and they're good at playing their own role, too. And the whites kind of want to be the Jews, I think.
Interesting. I know that they're jealous of the Jews.
Yeah, in the same way that the blacks are a little jealous of the whites. Yeah. Same thing.
Amazing. Well, thank you. Interesting, man. Thank you. And I'll put my 2 cents in on Sunday concerning the biblical question. Amazing, Josh. Thanks for the call.
Right. No problem. Thank you, man.
All right, buddy. Happy Men History Month. August is Men History Month. And August will always be Men History Month. And before I go back to the calls and your super chats, I have a men history moment for you. And it was a good choice. My producer picked this one out, chose this one for me, for us, for y'all, and for us. And it's about Theodore Roosevelt. It's an amazing choice. This is from Wikipedia. Theodore Roosevelt Jr. Listen to this man, the history of this man. He white. Theodore Roosevelt Jr. was a soldier, historian, explorer, writer, and was the 26th president of the United States. As president, Roosevelt emerged as a leader of the Republican Party and became a driving force for antitrust and progressive policies. Here is a picture of the great man. He white. Theodore Roosevelt. Isn't that amazing? And here's a little bit more information from biography. Theodore Roosevelt accomplishments. Watch this.
It's called TR and Teddy. Theodore Roosevelt was a true American original. At age 42, he was the youngest man ever to become president, and with his youthful vigor and vision, transformed America from a fledgling industrial nation into a world power. TR said, "No president ever enjoyed himself as much as I. His achievements include building the Panama Canal, creating national parks, and busting big business monopolies. He was the first president to go up in a plane and down in a submarine. And though he loved a good war, Theodore Roosevelt was the first American to win a Nobel Peace Prize."
This tremendously alive person. Who could be bored with Theodore Roosevelt?
Amazing. One white man that was busy.
And he hunted.
Look. And he hunted. How do you have time to do all that stuff? Remind me of Donald Trump.
When you can, you find the time. When you do what you want, really.
Yeah, you do. That's true. Amazing.
That's an elephant. What the?
Amazing. You must have been hungry. And here's a little information about Theodore's father from biography.
Theodore Roosevelt grew up as an upper-class Knickerbocker, which meant that he was at the top of the heap socially. You couldn't get more feet than Theodore Roosevelt.
Theodore, the second of 4 children, was named after his father, a wealthy and socially prominent glass importer.
TR was profoundly influenced by his father.
Nice.
The best man I ever knew.
And so was
as he
Trump.
said. The only human being to whom I ever told everything. The only man of whom I was afraid. The father was an extraordinary human being.
He was involved in all the charities. He was a perfect father, a perfect husband. He was a paragon. And I think it was a big problem for TR as to what to do, because he believed himself, I think, all of his life, inferior as a human being to his father.
Wow. Trump, according to the reports, grew up close to his father. Ain't nothing like a father's love. Every child, boy or girl, boy and girl, yearns for the Father's love. Salvation, if you want to be free, if you want to have perfect peace, you got to return to the Father. Isn't that amazing? Trump, the Great White Hope, was heavily influenced by his father. So I'm told. And it shows. All fathers of all races are needed by their children and their wives if they have a wife. And their wives. Here's a little information from biography about Theo. His mother Watch this.
Theodore's mother, Martha Bullock, was a Southern
Miss
belle
Bullock.
from Roswell, Georgia. Some believe that Margaret Mitchell, the author of Gone with the Wind, based the character of Scarlett O'Hara to some extent on Theodore Roosevelt's mother.
Her only public role was really as a society leader, as a person who had a charming salon, who was funny, articulate, well-read. His mother is the person who gives TR his love of playing on words.
He was terrific at turning phrases. The press loved him. He created such phrases as the lunatic fringe or throw your hat in the ring, phrases that today everybody uses all the time.
Nice. They don't make men and women like this anymore. That's what Joe Ellen talking about on his show, and y'all missing it. That's what he's on the Joy Friday TV, in case you don't know. It's Monday through Thursday at 11 a.m. And last but not least, Theodore had asthma as a child. Watch
Me too.
this.
I'm basically Theodore.
What? You have asthma?
I had asthma as a kid.
Oh, you did? You don't have it anymore?
I don't think so.
Oh,
I don't know if
nice.
I tested it.
Theodore number 2.
All right, let's watch
Nice.
this.
Watch this.
But neither his loving parents nor privileged background could shield Theodore from a childhood plagued by severe bouts of asthma, which kept him isolated from others.
Theodore Roosevelt develops a combative personality, not only in struggling to breathe as a small child, but also in the struggle that his father sends him on to kill that invalid within him.
TR created his own character from puny man to man of action, and it began here in his childhood, working out in the gym that his father created for him.
Later, when they learned as part of therapy for asthma that he should go out in the country and that he should exercise, nature and the outdoors represented health to him.
He spent much of that time looking at nature, particularly birds. He was fascinated by birds. That was the beginning of his interest in natural history.
When he was 9 and 10 years old, he learns how to become a taxidermist. He learns all the Latin names of the birds and animals. He keeps diaries, notes.
He would save his specimens in the family icebox. Upon one occasion, a maid reached in for some cheese, and there was one of TR's dead mice lying on the cheese, and she screamed.
One of the great achievements of Theodore Roosevelt's presidency were his conservation efforts, and that clearly was an outgrowth of his childhood, studying natural history. In fact, he had thought up through his college years that he would become a naturalist as an adult.
Amazing. God's gift to earth. Doesn't it remind you of Trump? Wikipedia has also reported that his face is carved on Mount Rushmore alongside George Washington, Thomas Jefferson, and Abraham Lincoln. Look at that. Mighty, 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 mighty power. Now you see why Black Lives Matter hate him so much. Black Lives Matter. I hate people like this. They up there on Mount Rushmore doing things. They need a George Floyd hair comb in their head. In their hair. Right on. Amazing. Happy Man History Month. And thank you, Theodore. Thank you for what you've given to this amazing country. I appreciate it. What an encouragement. Thank you very much. Nice. Happy Men History Month. They don't make them like that anymore. Men are now mama's boys. They're afraid to leave home, even after 18. They said they can't pay the rent. Like they don't know how to get 2 jobs or 3. They're afraid of this, afraid of that. They don't know what to do with the woman. They're afraid of the woman. Ain't no way you're going to be up on Mount Rushmore. You can't even deal with your woman or the woman. What the?